another air conditioner here. This one's a little bit different. Nothing runs. No fan, no compressor, no nothing. So I've been working on it for a few minutes, but thought this might make a good video. So we're gonna go in here and show you what we found. All right. Well, we verified that we got AC power up here. You hear relays clicking whenever we turn something on, but nothing happens. So get this cover off this control box. See if we can jumper some stuff over and see if it runs. If it runs, then we know if that happens, we've got a bad control box. We'll know here in a minute. Now that we've got the cover off, let me see if I can turn around there where maybe you can see something. I'll just use a jumper wire, see if stuff will run. So, let's see here. Ouch.
Got there, don't we?
Yeah. Don't touch the end of your jumper wire. Alright, low fan is red. Let's see if it will run. Yes. Fan runs. Now, as always, our either blue or purple wire is the compressor. Let's see if it runs. Yes, the compressor runs. So, we got a bad control box, so we're going to change it. That should fix this right up. First thing we're going to do is we got our multimeter. We're going to hook it up to this power lead. So when we cut the breaker off that's marked air conditioner, we can confirm that that is actually the air conditioner. Just don't ever trust the labels in the panel box. So I cut the one off marked air conditioner, and lo and behold, it was the air conditioner. So no, we don't have any AC power up here now, so we can safely start removing this control box. This changing from an analog control to the new digital stuff, not new, it's been out for, I don't know, quite some time. There's not a lot of information out there, and there's no instructions with the new digital control. So the blue wires coming out, the blue control wires, are usually your furnace thermostat. So they do give you a couple of spade connectors for that. So we'll get these wire nuts off here. Go ahead and put our new spade connectors on here that will go into the new box. We have our crimpers and our new ends. Alright, got our little female spade connectors on there. Now all these other wires here, we're only going to use 3 of these. So we got our main power wire that goes to the thermostat. It's marked, and even if it's not, it's usually red. They usually put a little tag on it. So we're gonna reuse that. We're gonna go ahead and they give us a new wiring harness here. This one's marked 12 volt to thermostat. That's the one we're gonna hook to that wire. Thermostat. We'll put it on the little wire that goes back to the thermostat, rather than put it on the wire out of the box that we're changing. Let's see here. That's the only one I'm concerned about there. Just don't want to get it mixed up. It doesn't really matter. It's like I say, we're doing away with most of these wires anyway. All was concerned about there was the one going back to the thermostat, and then we've got our main power wires up here. They're also labeled on the new harness. And then one of these other wires we're going to pick for our communication. I usually do the orange, just my personal preference. And we do have to run a ground back to the thermostat, which is a little bit different. Get all them wires separated. Alright. Okay, now this up here is our main DC power. We've got one of these wires on our new harness marked DC negative. We're going to take the old control box wire out of this wire nut and put our new one in there, and we do have to pick one of these control wires going back to the thermostat. We have to pick one for ground. We will do white. So we've got to put this white wire for our thermostat ground on this ground up here. Are you following along? So our white wire is going to be our ground or our thermostat. And then our power, our main DC power, is right here. Take the old control box off. Put the wire for the new control box that's marked 12 volt DC power supply. Put it right back there. And our communication, like I say, we're going to use orange. And it goes under the COM wire for the new thermostat. So these other wires are not being used, so we're just going to wrap them up here so they're out of the way. They're not going to be hooked up on either end, so there's no danger of them touching anything. So that's all of our control wiring to do up here. Pop off our old free sensor. We got a new one with a new box. Get this wire clamp off here. Out with the old, in with the new. Normally you wouldn't have all these wires up in here, but this camper's kind of old to have a ceiling fan in it. So I'd say somebody added a residential ceiling fan, and they got their power right here to run it. Be my guess. I don't know. Doesn't really matter. As long as I get it all hooked back up, it should work. So, get our grounds. Since we got this extra wire up here, unknown wire, we got 3. Wire nut our 3 grounds together. Just like that. Then our 3 neutrals. Get everything all lined up. Preferably not all tangled up. Okay. Check our grounds, pulling all through them. Good. Now we're ready to hook up our load, our black wires. Tug on all 3 of them. Okay. Now, get our new free sensor. Go ahead and stick it in the coils up here. You get a little diagram, tells you where to do it. It's a little bit spooky doing it because you actually just shove that part right in the coils, and you try and get it, in there most of the way. First time you do it, it's pretty spooky. Usually you put it on the lower left hand part of the coils. Just get it started between 2 fins. Which is sometimes easier said than done. There we go. Just shove it in there, kind of at an angle, like a 45-degree downward angle. All right. So plug our upper unit into the control box. I'm not going to hook our new wiring harness to to the box until we get finished with the thermostat. So we're going to go, you get a new thermostat with a new digital control, you have to change it. So we're going to go change the thermostat, then we'll plug this in and then we'll test it. Here's your old thermostat. And here's the new digital one. One bad thing about switching from analog to digital, which you have no choice, because the analog stuff is obsolete, is this thermostat's half the size, or two-thirds of the size, so you're going to have a hole that's exposed right there. None of these wires here have any power on them or anything, so we don't have to worry about them touching. We just loosen them all up. Like such. Be careful, don't let your wires go back in the wall. You would not enjoy fishing them bad boys out. So we're only going to use 3 of these wires. Our red one is our power, our white one is our ground, and our orange one is our comm. I'm actually going to make that hole just a smidge bigger so I can get all this stuff back in there in a minute. That hole was tight, just barely bigger than the cable. There we go. Now we got some more room, because the unused wires, just like we did up there, we are just going to wind that up here in case they're needed at a later date, in case something goes wrong with one of these wires. Run your new wires back through the hole in the thermostat, and they're marked ground and 12 volt, and the other one is of course going to be your comm line. Snug it up. Put our communication wire in and snug it up, and put our power wire in. Alright, got those 3 snugged up. Tug on them wires a little bit just to make sure. Those little terminals they can be a bear. You think you got the wire in them and you don't. Alright, I'm going to go plug in the control box. You should see a light here. Alright, got a light. That's always a good sign. I'm going to cut the breaker on. We're going to start testing, and then we'll button everything up. You can actually just touch these terminals. It's all low voltage stuff to toggle through the different functions. So let's go to high fan. We should hear the fan come on after a delay. Alright, we got high fan. Try low fan. You don't always have actually a 2-speed fan in some of these air conditioners. Not always. This one we do. So there's our low fan. Let's go back to high. Everything you do on these thermostats, there's a delay. So I went to high, there was a delay. There's a delay before anything happens, and then it comes on high. Alright, let's go to cool. It's still a little bit cool here today, so I'm going to have to run this down a little bit. Make sure our compressor comes on. I'm going to go over and listen. Alright, our compressor came on. We'll wait a little bit, make sure it's going to cool, but I'm going to start buttoning some stuff up. Start here with this thermostat. Screw it back to the wall. These new thermostats are really touchy. You don't want to over tighten these, especially if there's any curve or anything to your wall. This wall's nice and flat, but still, you just don't go crazy tightening these things up. Alright, we're going to go in here and button the rest of it up. The most important thing with these new digital thermostats is it's just a touchpad, kind of like a smartphone.
Mm-hmm.
Don't push the buttons, just touch the buttons.
Okay.
Okay. There's fan, and that's auto. Okay. We go to low, and every time you do anything on here, there's a delay. See, there was a delay, and then the fan comes on. Okay. If we just go from low to high, there's a delay. It's going to shut off, and then it will come back on high. Everything you do, there's a delay. All right. Now, if in furnace mode, if you want that fan in the air conditioner to work with the furnace, pick either high or low, and then just go to furnace, and the fan will run continuously. It never shuts off.
The air conditioner
fan, yes sir. It just circulates the air. Now, if you don't want that, just go back to fan.
okay, and go to auto.
Okay.
And that will cut that air conditioner fan off, and only the furnace will run.
Okay.
Okay. So we'll cut that furnace off. That's off. And it'll take that furnace a little while to quit running. So for air conditioning, you just leave that on auto and then go to cool, and the fan will come and go when when the thermostat's satisfied, it's cool enough in here, it'll cut the compressor off, and then it'll cut the fan off, and then when it's ready to go again, it'll cut the fan off.
How do you regulate the
temperature? Here,
okay,
we're going to put it up on something decent, about 70 or something. Like I say, don't push these buttons, you just touch them.
Okay.
And sometimes you have to touch it, a couple times to get it to react, but don't just push harder.
Right.
Alright, so there you have it. There is diagnosing your Dometic air conditioner that is not running. Hope that all made sense to you, and as always, thanks for watching, and please don't forget to subscribe, give me a thumbs up, thumbs down, give me a comment, and we're gonna go to the next one. Catch y'all later.